Transformers Prime Megatron, one of, if not the most definitive takes on the character in recent years, if not for the foreseeable future, especially with those
boyish good looks.
And for APC Toys to improve their improvement from the original mold just adds icing on the cake.
Pound cake.
In this instance. But enough gawking. Today I'll be going over the APC Toys 004 Dark Master 2.0 Megatron, available on the showzstore. Starting off with the box, as standard issue for APC Toys, we have an excellent illustration of him in robot mode and vehicle mode on the back, with the Dark Star Saber on the side. However, I don't think it tops the original packaging from a couple years ago, but that's just my opinion. Over to the main attraction, and before I begin, this is the improved version of the character in the original version, not the original version from Hasbro, but the original one from APC Toys, has considerably tighter joints in posability and transformation, which leads to more paint chipping on the figure. Also, a few of the vehicle mode parts just weren't as color accurate. But with this improved version, you can definitely tell they listened to the feedback, since this guy is so fun to play with and everything is just so smooth, and gives that much more of a professional feel. Plus, I'm pretty sure they'll have him a new face mold and painted his eyes and face to be more show accurate, since version 1 looks a bit dopey for some reason, in my opinion anyway. However, with the paint, due to the transformation being very finicky and lots of the parts clashing and scraping together, this time APC Toys has made the decision for the base plastic to be the same color as Megatron in the show. However, it's not perfect when it comes to accuracy. When I first got this guy, I genuinely didn't like how he looked, but after messing with him for a few days, it started growing on me, and I think it fits well, as there is a little bit of silver accents in certain areas compared to the first version being completely lathered in silver, but they have kept the purple accents in the same places, which is good. Personally, when you're giving a mold a color design, in my opinion, it's just better to have more than 2 colors, otherwise it just looks unfinished. Head over to accessories now, and he only has a few, which for someone who doesn't use any handheld blasters is quite surprising to see. Starting off, he has his iconic arm cannon, and I don't think there's ever been a Megatron that doesn't come with an arm mounted weapon. But as you can see, there is a little switch on the side, and the reason is that there is a little LED inside. Now, for the 2.0 version, APC said they increased the brightness in the LED, but it's still super dull for some reason, but it could just be my figure. Also, what's odd to me is that it's a blue LED inside, instead of it being purple. It just looks a little odd when it's turned on, but for the big information that you guys are going to need, it does need LR41 button batteries, and you're going to need 3 of those, which you can buy for pretty cheap for most places. Next up, he does come with 2 wrist blades that can peg into, as you would guess, his wrists, and they look really quite cool when both are installed. I'm quite surprised by how long they are, as I remember them being a bit shorter, but I might be misremembering. And finally, he comes with the Dark Star Saber, which was the main focal point of the show around the middle of its life, and overall it's well molded. However, since this is the 2nd edition, they have changed the blade itself to a metallic purple instead of the original translucent purple, which in my opinion looks way cooler. But another gripe I have with this is that the handle on the blade has actually been painted, so it can chip quite easily when installing it into his hand. I'm not sure why they did this instead of just casting it in a black plastic, and it would still, honestly, if they just kept it in a black plastic, it would still look good. But now on what you can see here, it's just like, you can see the original plastic sticking out and all that, but it's nothing a little bit of black paint can't fix up. Bringing it back around to the figure now, and the articulation on this guy is awesome. It's just so smooth all around, and they've done a really solid job when it comes to refining his movement. But to begin, he has a ball joint in his head, however it's quite restrictive due to his head and shoulders, but I'm surprised to learn that they based his head in realism in the show, in where most of the animation, he doesn't have any clipping with his head, so you can still put him in most poses you'd see in the show. Down to the shoulders, he has quite the movement, starting with a butterfly joint and 3 pins in the shoulder. Double elbow joints and a wrist swivel. Skipping the waist, he does have full leg movement near the pelvis area. 90 degrees in the knee with a swivel as well. And finally, a little bit of movement in the foot with a very, very small ankle tilt. Now, as everyone knows, nothing is perfect, and this guy is no exception. The transformation for this guy is quite annoying to deal with, and just isn't fun in general. But to start, push his shoulders back via the butterfly joints, and untab and bring down his chest plate. It will be double jointed, so you can just wiggle it all the way down. Next, fully pull out his back all the way so it's facing upwards, and twist the large backpack section near the middle of his back 180 degrees, so the circle section is near his head. Then pull the back section over his head and hook it to his neck plate. It is quite annoying to deal with, and on my version both hooks won't sit right. It seems to be something wrong with the plastic, like it's just not even, so it just flops around everywhere. Now for his arms, you need to fold those butterfly joints inside, then connect his arms together and fold his arms inside using the double elbow joints. This part is tricky, so if you need to disconnect his arms to get it in, it's fine, but make sure you reconnect his arms after you manage to fold them inside. And just look at pause the video to get a reference as to where to put the arms on. Next, fold his abba plate down. That's also in a double joint, so you just gotta bring it all the way down and clip it in. Next, you gotta spread his legs and then fold his pelvis around and inside his torso. Now, just grab those two chest plate sections and pull them all the way down near the folded out ab section and just leave them there. Fold the little back piece of his feet all the way forward so all three toes are together. Then bring down just his lower legs, and you should see two large tabs near the back plates and two slots on either of his legs, in which you just tab them together. Next, flip the entire thing around and pull off the panels on his legs and just wriggle them up and over to the top of the tab. They're also double jointed and it can be a little bit tricky sometimes, so don't use too much force, but just keep wriggling it around. And last, just fold out the little pointy bits on the edges that were hiding inside the feet, or the legs I mean. Now, I'm just going to say flat out, vehicle mode is horrendous. You can pretty much only make it look good from one angle, and even then it looks a bit funky. But honestly, it's fair since the robot mode is astounding and all. Like I said, nothing is perfect, especially the angles on this guy. I'm not saying that his vehicle mode is terrible in the show or anything. It's just that when it's brought to toy form, I feel like the figure, like if it was made in current day, it would be so much better. But keeping it, I will be keeping him in robot mode, which I presume 99% of you guys will be anyway. But in the end, it's still a great product. even if not everything is perfect, and I still recommend picking this guy up if you like Transformers Prime molds. But that's all I got for today. I'll catch you around next week. See ya.